What is going on around us? What is happening right under our nose and is made to appear that everything is fine and dandy and that there is no problem? The information presented in this presentation is based primarily on developments and activities in Sydney and Western Sydney. But it would not surprise me if the same was occurring in your neck of the woods. Now, my children were taken away from me by the mother of the children against my will, and I can assure you against my children's will, around 15 months ago. Since then, an ADVO, or in other words, a restraining order, has been put against me to keep me away from the mother and my children, and for the same allegations and events that the mother accused me of, she was the one that got charged for. When one reads the report in the event number, one will realise that the incident was referred back to the domestic violence unit, who are not in the public eye, but rather on a different level in the same building as the police building. What is the domestic violence unit? The domestic violence unit chose not to mention my children in the report after watching my children scream out of fear from their own mother. However, they still decide to place an ADVO against me, keeping myself away from my children. So who are the domestic violence unit? We will get to that real soon in this presentation. Now, realizing that I was not charged and that I will fight the ADVO, the restraining order, in local court, the mother then seeks other vicious means to try and sever and destroy my relationship with my daughter, and takes my 3-year-old daughter to DOCS, which is the Department of Community Services, which falls under the government umbrella of FACS, which is Family and Community Services. She takes them to DOCS to try and get me charged with a child sexual molestation charge. She is then asked to see a specialist team that is made up of police and DOCS workers to investigate this matter. The investigation comes back as unsubstantiated and no disclosure, and I also was not informed that there was an investigation until after the investigation was closed. Very sneaky and dirty tactics by a team that appears to be dedicated to helping children, knowing full well that they should have spoken to me first. After doing my investigation on this pathetic team of pathetic so-called experts, I realised that the whole investigation was botched right from the word go. I also found blatant ethnic prejudice within documents that came from detectives and case workers, which stated that there is no criminal history on my record because I was born overseas, and the only history that I do have is after I had met the mother of my children. I was not born overseas. I was born in Australia. In my entire life, I have only spent 2 weeks outside of this country, and that was when I was an adult. Why is it hard for someone to believe that someone has no criminal history if they are from a different ethnicity? Must I have a criminal record? Disgusting. So who are these people that work for DOCS or FACS and New South Wales Police, who are supposed to investigate matters of child sexual molestation and will state, even after a matter has come back as unsubstantiated and no disclosure, that a child is safe because there is an ADVO, or other words, a restraining order against the father, forcing him to be away from the children? We will get to that soon as well in this presentation. Who and what is the magistrate that can't distinguish the difference between empathy and sympathy, even after being given the definition of both words by myself? Why would a magistrate even need to have the difference between these two words as to what the difference is? Shouldn't a magistrate already know? Why would a magistrate use this poor example as to why a female should not be convicted of a serious charge after being charged by the police? So who are these people? The answer to these questions is females. Yes, Females. When you are speaking to police and a domestic violence matter is brought up, the police, whether the officer be male or female, will tell you that they will refer your issue to the ladies in a domestic violence unit or domestic violence unit ladies. Now, when you do your homework with regard to the so-called specialist team that investigates serious allegations regarding child sexual molestation, you will realise that the team is made up of two parts, 50% docs and 50% police, but 95% females. They must have thrown a male amongst them just to make it look a little bit better. Now, I will be exposing this in the very near future, names inclusive. The magistrate was also female, who not only needs to go back to school to get a proper education, but also does not look at falsified images that were made by the mother and allows these photos to be admitted into evidence. Yes, admitted into evidence without even looking at these images. Great work, Your Honour. Fantastic. Now, this is only scratching the surface. When I go to see my children at the contact centre for 2 hours, there is not a single male amongst their staff. At this contact centre, or any other contact centre for this matter, you must pay a fee to see your own children. Yes, it costs money to see your own children, your own kids. Look around you. Who is the vast majority at Centrelink? Females. Where have all the male news reporters gone? There are hardly any left. What about this one that I'll throw at you, which happened to myself and another male colleague of mine? Now, I call up the men's helpline and a female answers the phone to counsel me. Come on, man. The matriarchy is in full effect.